There is a tension at the heart of Jesus' parable of the prodigal son. Today we heard a story of welcome and return, but also a story of resentment and exclusion. It's a story of visibility, of someone stepping into joy, being celebrated, being seen, a story of someone struggling with what that means to them. And that is exactly the struggle we see playing out in our world today. Take, for example, the Iowa House of Representatives. Love being an Iowan these days. So, a few weeks ago, Representative Steve Holt and his had some arguments, the only arguments, for stripping away civil rights protections from transgender Iowans. And what was his reasoning? It was fear. The fear of trans women in traditionally cis women places. The fear of who is visible, who is allowed to exist in public, and who gets to belong. Well, underneath all of that is an admission, whether he realized it or not. What he was talking about was not trans people, but he was talking about men. He was saying that men are dangerous and that men are the problem. But instead of asking how we might reshape masculinity, how we might hold our community accountable, how we might create a world where all people are safe and seen, he chooses to exclude, to build walls, and to shut doors. Well, that's the older brother's story, isn't it? The older brother isn't just angry with his younger sibling as he returns. No, he's angry that there's a party, that there's a celebration. And why is he angry? I mean, I feel for this brother. He has worked hard. He has followed all the rules, and he has done everything right. And now here comes his younger sibling, finally visible again after being lost. And instead of punishment, instead of shame, instead of being told to stay quiet and just be grateful, the younger sibling is given a feast. And the older sibling cannot understand it. He cannot celebrate it. And isn't that the same reaction that some people have when trans people step into visibility? Why do they get all this attention? Why is identity so important? Why do they need a whole day just for visibility? We hear these questions. You may have asked these questions. But what does the Father say? The Father says, "My child, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours. But we had to celebrate, because the sibling of yours was dead and has come to life. They were lost, and now they were found." Visibility for one does not mean invisibility for the other. Celebrating trans joy does not diminish anybody's self-worth. But when someone who has been erased, dismissed, or silenced, when they finally get their moment to be seen, to be affirmed, and to be celebrated, the only response that aligns with God's heart is joy. And that's what makes this story even more radical. You see, the Father doesn't just celebrate the younger son. He also gets up and he leaves the party to meet his older son where he is. He doesn't say, "Get over yourself." He doesn't shame him for his resentment. He invites them in. He says, come inside. Be a part of this. Share in this joy. And that's our invitation into Trans Day of Visibility, if I can get that out. Because to trans people, the invitation is, you are seen. You are loved. And you are made in God's image. So please step fully into who you are, because the world needs your light. And to allies and faith communities, to everyone else in this room, we still get that invitation. Come into the celebration. Don't stand outside in resentment and discomfort. Step into joy. Step into justice. Step into love with us. Because the real tragedy of this parable is actually when we choose to stay outside, missing the joy of embracing full restoration. How do faith communities make these same mistakes? How often do we fail to celebrate the rich diversity of God's creation because maybe we're afraid to relinquish control or to step into the fullness of love and inclusion? But God is calling us to change that, to create a space where all are welcomed and celebrated and embraced. We need a place where we can truly be who we are. Jesus tells this parable as a part of a trilogy. We love a good trilogy. The lost sheep, the lost coin, and today, the lost son. And in each one, the moment of return is met with rejoicing. Because God's kingdom is not about exclusion, it's about restoration. And that's why transvisibility has total resurrection energy. It's about stepping out of the shadows. It's about shaking off the shame put onto us by others. And it's about declaring, here I am, fearfully and wonderfully made. And it is a moment from invisibility to belovedness, a reflection of the God who brings us life where there was none, who lifts up the lowly, who throws parties for those who have been silenced or left out. And that brings us to the Eucharist, our party. Every week, we come to another table, to the table of Christ, the table where no one but God decides who belongs. That Christ's body is broken so that no one else can be. We proclaim at the table that this place is not a place for fear, but of abundance, and there is enough room for all of us. So the question remains, will we stand outside, bitter that the spotlight is shifting? Or will we step into joy, recognizing that when one of us rises, we all rise? Because the truth is, the party doesn't start until everyone is inside. The table will be set, the celebration has begun. St. Andrew's, let us prepare for the feast.